Nearly a week after your unexpected adventure in Ironmount, you're discussing Io's resources as you walk through the orchard with Dirk. Is fuel run really necessary? It'll practically take all day to get to the nearest gas station and back. We need a stockpile for the solstice if we want to keep the generators running. It's a good thing you got those horses from Malia. Means we can conserve fuel by not using the van. I guess we better wrap this up then. Should we be looking for anything else while we're out there? How are we doing on food supplies? We're actually doing pretty well on the front. We could always use more non-perishables, but it's not urgent. Got it. Right. Well, the only thing left to discuss is what to do with the plot of land we cleared near the front gate. Oh wait, Walt and I think a watchtower would be more useful to monitor the local zombie population, but the Sunflower Creek folks want a mill. What about the people from Ironmount? Police Knights mostly want the watchtower, but the rest of them are in favor of the mill. Can't exactly blame them for that. They're probably some of the only people who know how to run one. Let's build the watchtower? Mill. Watchtower. Research. Build the watchtower. Yes. Plus it gives archers, since we made that wall, the ability to shoot from the watchtower, if you really think about it. And what do you want me to tell everyone who wanted the mill? This isn't the first time we've done something that not everyone agreed with. You'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Dirk, your attitude sucks. My attitude? You don't have to agree with my decisions, but acting like an ass isn't helping anyone. I'm not having this conversation with you. Or you can say anything. Another word. Dirk storms off back towards the lodge. You slowly follow aft, taking a look around at your colony as you go. Everywhere you look, you see people chatting, laughing as they go about their chores or relax in the sun. Your heart swells and you feel a smile creeping onto your face. It's really starting to feel like a home here. Mina and Walt are waiting for you outside the stables, a rolled up paper tube leaning against the wall between them. Heard you going on a fuel run today. You know where you're headed? I think so. Mina unfurls the paper tube to reveal a heavily attenuated map. Been trying to install more solar panels at Skywell, but we still use a lot of gas. These 3 stations still had pretty full tanks last time we went by, so they're your best bet. Got it. Thanks for the tip. Mina gives you a friendly clap on the shoulder before she and Walt wander off. You turn and nearly run into May, who has snuck up behind you. Whoa. Sorry, Mother said it's rude to interrupt when people are talking, so I waited. Are you done? Yeah, I'm done. Did you need something? The skinny night lady said you were on a mission today. Will you bring me back something cool like a flower or toy? Just then, Angel comes trotting out of the stables on the back of a horse, pulling another along behind her, saddled and ready to ride. Hey there, girl. The horse lets out a happy snort as you pet her neck. Eli said if we want to do the supply run before dark, we gotta get going. Blah blah, boring, boring, everyone's waiting. Be careful, okay? Don't get eaten or lost or decapitated. I'll do my best. Wake the Dead. Chapter 10, Another World. The 5 of you ride along on the road for an hour or so, heading for the nearest gas station while keeping an eye out for drones. I'm not normally one to complain about low zombie activity, but at least that would make this trip more exciting. You're kidding, right? I mean, you're on a horse. How could it get more exciting than that? I'd rather just have a chance to see these guys in action. They are war horses, after all. I think that I might even be better at fighting zombies than I am. Or they're planning to throw us to the first drones they find. I feel like this one's gonna buck me off any second now. Have you seen their teeth? Horrifying. Don't listen to Droid Quicksilver. You've got a beautiful smile. Without warning, Eli tosses you his compound bow and you barely manage to keep from dropping it. What's this for? There's some drones off to the east. See if you can hit one. You follow Eli's gaze and notice the silhouettes on the horizon. The form's barely visible. You knock an arrow and take aim. Don't forget to account for gravity. A little high. You pull back on the bowstring, carefully aiming at the end of the arrow a little ways above the zombie's head before you let go. Hey! Arrow sinks into the back of the zombie's skull, and it topples to the ground, out of sight. Hell yeah, I got it. Nice shot. You turn, hand the bow back to Eli, and catch a glint of something red in the ditch beside the road. Hey, what's that? It looks like a gas can. Eli gets off his horse and pushes the brush away to reveal 3 containers. He inspects each one, opening the caps to give their contents a careful sniff. They're full. Is this some kind of trick? Who leaves a bunch of gas on the side of the road? Who cares, finders keepers? Scan the horizon nervously and spot a strange series of colorful tints and mechanical objects jutting up in the distance. Whoa, is that an amusement park? Oh, I've always wanted to see one of those. It's on my bucket list, right after getting a makeover. People were always getting them in the books I read as a kid, so we didn't have any makeup at the back of the station. We could always make a pit stop. I mean, we did already find the gas, and we still have the rest of the day ahead of us. I've actually been there before. My brother and I always wanted to ride the roller coaster, but we weren't tall enough. Maybe they'll even have a can of electrolyte. I've been trying to get my hands on that stuff since I saw it on a Torna magazine at the Tower Depot. I don't think there's much chance of getting to play in the rain, but I'll tag along. What about you, Faith? Is there anything you've always wanted to do you haven't got a chance to do yet? I've always wanted to go to the zoo. Sure, I've seen livestock and small critters in the woods, but I want to see something more exotic, like a lion or bear. They'd just try to kill you. But they'd be adorable while doing it. That settles it. We've more than earned a break. Let's go to check out that amusement park. You load the gas up, ride the short distance to the amusement park. After tying up your horses near the entrance, you all creep inside. I would have left the gas on the side of the road. Who the hell else is going to come up and get it? Keep an eye out for drones. That way this place is completely empty. You walk slowly past the old, rusted machinery, scanning every nook and cranny as you cross to the makeshift dirt road. Eli puts his hand on your shoulder, holding you back. Dead. It'd be funny if you said that and there were zombies ahead, you know, because they're dead. Oh. 2 drones meander past one of the rides, slowly heading in your direction, though they haven't noticed you yet. What should we do? Charge at them and kill them. We should do this quietly. A couple well-placed arrows, and with any luck, they won't alert anyone else to our presence. You and Eli carefully line up your shots and fire. The drone falls without a sound, but Eli's target lets out a shriek as it crumples to the ground. There's a tense moment where you all wait to see if any other drones emerge, but everything remains still and quiet. Looks like the coast is clear. Angel and Shannon dart ahead, Eli following behind you, while Troy takes a closer look at the entrance. Hey, Faith, check this out. It's one of those tiny, or old-timey-wimey public service documents from when the outbreak started. He beckons you over to a ticket booth, gesturing to a stack of tattered purple pamphlets. They've printed thousands of them, but I've never actually seen one of them before. Our scouts never thought they were worth bringing in. You think there's any useful info in there? I've heard some of them list shelter locations, places chocked full of supplies, but there's really only one way to find out. What do you say? Would it break this glass? Diamond choice. Troy lifts his pipe, easily smashes through the glass window of the ticket booth. You carefully reach in and snatch up the document. Now let's see what they thought they were dealing with. Zombieism PSA. Everything you need to know about zombies. What you need to know. What you need to know: the Z25 parasite is a microscopic parasite that first appeared in the early 2025 in the United States. The parasite primarily affects the brain functions and deteriorates the outer layer of the skin. While it may look frightening, there is nothing to fear. It is only possible to spread the disease by introduction of an infected person's saliva into the bloodstream. There's no evidence that it's caused by chemicals in your food or water. A nutritious, well-balanced diet and adequate hydration makes a strong immune system. If you or your family member believe you've been exposed, at-home tests are available at most drugstores. While you wait for results, isolate yourself, and if symptoms worsen, contact your doctor or local hospital. We all must be doing our part to prevent the spread. How to identify? From a distance, people infected with the Z25 may look like regular healthy humans, and that's why it's important to check for TINs before you approach. Teeth, eyes, nails, and skin. Teeth. Calcium buildup over their teeth, making them sharp and pointed. Some may even grow so large they poke out of the individual's mouth. Eyes. Those with the parasite often lose vision, their eyes turning milky white in color and causing them to stumble around. Nails. Their nails grow at a record rate, making them sharp and long. Skin. As the parasite damages the outer epidermis, it turns gray, blisters, and peels off, similar to a bad sunburn. Those with late-stage infections are often confused, unable to communicate, and in need of medical treatment. If you see something, say something. Report any infected sightings to the Infectious Disease Task Force by dialing *33 immediately. In case of a bite. In case of a bite, bites are the main method of transmission for the Z25 parasite. If you're bitten by one of the infected, prompt action is your best chance for good outcome. 1. Wash the infected area. As soon as it is safe to do so, wash the bite with plenty of hot water and soap, or with a gentle wound cleaning or antiseptic spray. Bleach, apple cider vinegar, and other home remedies are not recommended. Okay. Don't panic. We are learning more about the Z25 every day, and many promising treatments are ready in testing stages. Clearly, none of it worked. If you or someone you know is bitten, resist the temptation to take matters in your own hands. Remember, fear of the disease can be as dangerous as the disease itself. Seek immediate medical attention. Infected individuals become contagious within 1 to 3 days after exposure. Early symptoms include high fever, fatigue, and increased aggression. The more time goes by, the harder it will be to manage symptoms. Don't wait. Call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room immediately. Assistance in shelters. In the event that you cannot stay in your home due to infected family members isolating, we have set up a number of shelters which you can find listed in the back of the pamphlets. Here, food, water, and a bed will be provided for you until you are able to return home, or more permanent accommodations can be found. Anyone intended to stay at these shelters just has to pass a simple screening by a medical doctor before they will be allowed inside. We care about your safety. Additionally, we have set up supply stations throughout the county for those who cannot make it to the shelter, but may need assistance in difficult times. These supplies include food, water, and other survival equipment. Supply drops can be found at the following: West Bank Mall, Bracken Fall Town Hall, Heart and Home Met Hospital, Flying High Amusement Park. Nothing else. Well, it seems like that they had all the right information. Hard to believe so many people still died. Knowledge is only half the battle. If you can't actually fight the drones, you're a goner. At least some of this should come in handy for Shannon, even if it's mostly confirmed, which he already knew. We should keep an eye out for a supply drop, though, see if anything's left. You and Troy find the others digging through one of the tents. Shannon gasps as she opens a long wooden box stained with various colors. These are face paints. Looks like you might get that makeover after all. I'm on it. Just call me your angel godmother. Ha! She snatches the paints and pulls the curtains on the tent shut. Around 10 minutes later, Shannon emerges, black paint around the eyes, red on her lips, and a large skull on her cheek. How do I look? Like normal, because Pixel buried and wouldn't invest in that. Would have taken 30 seconds as a damn editor. You look different. Is different good? I think that's up to you. Isn't the point of a makeover to try something out and see if you like it? I will say it makes you look like you could kick my ass. Maybe I'll just wear it for battles then. Give the zombies a real scare. It's even worse shape than I remember. You turn to see Eli stopped in front of a towering roller coaster, staring up at a rusty metal structure. Oh, you're not expecting me to fix this, right? I mean, maybe with a whole crew of people in a few weeks. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, no, you don't, Mr. Grumpy. We're getting you that roller coaster ride. We just need a cart and some kind of energy. Troy and Angel and Shannon scattered through the park and returned with a leaf blower duct taped to the back of a wooden car. Eli, Faith, your chariot awaits. Doesn't this seem a little dangerous to you? And loud. Safer than the big metal death trap. You look at Eli, who shrugs. There are stupider ways to die. You and Eli climb into the car. Angel starts with the leaf blower on the back, while Troy grabs at the handle at the front and takes off running. Whoa. Hold on to Eli, because screaming is loud. The wagon bounces over rocks and takes a sharp turn, practically throwing you and Eli. You wrap your arms around him, holding on tightly. Please don't crash, please don't crash. Eli keeps you tucked tightly against his side as you wheel through the park, a grin making its way on his face. As the wagon slows to a stop, you're still clinging to him, heart pounding in your chest. He gives your shoulder a gentle squeeze. I've got you. And so the great Eli Sipes does know how to smile. Sipes? When did we know his last name? You and Eli hop out of the cart and, still grinning, Eli claps Troy on the back a little too hard. Thank you, Troy. And never call me by my full name again. Faith, you'll never guess what I found. Only 2 drones in this whole entire amusement park, full of loud noises. Angel grabs your arms and leads you on to an old warehouse full of old parade floats covered in chipped paint and rusted metal. So, I know it's not a real zoo, but I figured it's the closest we've got. Angel ushers everyone off and then dramatically clears her throat. Hi, everyone, I'm Angel Savage, and I'll be your tour guide today. This'll be good. Off to your right, in front of the overly large crown with shoes, are a couple of horses. Next up is the king of the jungle, our lion. She leads you around the corner to where Eli's wearing a colorful poofy collar around his neck. He glares at Angel. I said our lion. Roar. And at the conclusion of our tour, we have the terrifyingly grizzly bear. She waves her hand as Troy comes out, holding a small pink and blue stuffed animal. He holds it up to his face. Grrr. Now I want to see a platypus. They're just a weird, animalgation of a bunch of other animals, but they're real. Hang on, I've got an idea. Angel darts to the back of the warehouse and returns a few minutes later, holding a roughly stitched-together stuffed animal. It's got a beak, large flat tail, as well as some other additions. I don't think the platypuses had spines on their back. They do now. So, how'd you like the tour, Faith? The zoo was way cooler than anything they could have had in the old world. Sure, we'll go with that. Stepping back outside, you walk over to one of the mini prize booths, still full of half-rotten stuffed animals and other broken toys. Wouldn't it be half-rotted? It's okay, Pixelberry. Words, they matter. Shame most of these have been destroyed in the weather. Otherwise, I'd bring them back for all the kids. Well, if the kids won't show them love, I will. That's how you get a disease. I think I see one still in good shape. Shannon points up to the back corner of the canopy where a slightly ratty stuffed frog sits safe from the elements. May did ask me to bring something back for her. No, it's not a traditional toy, like a teddy bear, but knowing how much May likes the outdoors, she'll love it. You can even tell her it's a prince in disguise, and she has to keep a secret. Get the stuffed frog as a present for May to make the little girl's day and unlock a special scene later in the book. Angel jumps up and uses the canopy's poles to swing high enough to grab the toy before dropping back to the ground and handing it to you. Here you are. Come on, Mr. Frog. You've got a new best friend waiting for you back at I.O. You're just stowing him in the bag when Troy gasps and practically throws himself over the counter at one of the game tents. Do my eyes deceive her, or am I the luckiest man alive? Troy emerges from the tent with an aluminum can raised proudly over his head. I found it. Oh, for the love of God. Crack that bad boy open and give it a taste. It'll probably be flat. Troy pops open the top, takes a sip, his eyes go wide. Oh. Well, how is it? It's, really good. The can gets passed around the group, everyone taking a sip only to react with disgust. Oh, God, get it off my tongue. It's certainly an acquired taste. You mean gross? The can finally reaches you, and you hesitantly bring it to your lips. The sickly sweet flavor washes over your tongue, mixed with something incredibly sour. Troy, you can't seriously like this. What are you talking about? It's delicious. He's bluffing. Tell the truth, Troy, or we'll make you drink the rest of it. Okay, maybe it's not nearly as good as I hoped it'd be. Possibly a little. Did you see anything that looked like a supply station while you were back there? It's not in this tent, but it can't be far. You pull the PSA pamphlet out of your bag, look over the map, following it to a less colorful tent near the end of the row. Troy ducks inside, rooting through a pile of empty plastic bins. Damn, looks like it's already been picked over. Not completely. Check this out. A trank gun. Maybe you save this for any people that get in our way? There's only one dart here. One dart's all you need to stay alive. Ah, ever the optimist. I think that's everything we came for, and it's only noon. What about Angel? She hasn't got to play in the rain. Shame, those clouds are so far away. Don't worry about little old me, I told you. I'm just along for the ride. Take a look around, and beside the duck pond, you know, it's a spigot and a couple empty buckets. I've got an idea. Close your eyes, Angel. You fill the buckets with water and pass them out among your friends before gathering in a circle around her. Here it comes. You toss the water into the air, and it comes down crashing back on the top of everyone. Oh, it's cold. As the group takes turns emptying their buckets, Angel throws her hand back to catch droplets on her tongue. It's amazing. I should start a water fight. You fill your bucket up with a spigot and slowly creep up behind Troy before splashing it across his back. Got ya. Oh, this means war, Faith. Troy tosses his own bucket of water at you, leaving you soaked and hitting Shannon in the process. Water fight! Eli's mine. I'm not Angel dumps a full bucket of water into his head. His eyes narrow, but you catch the hint of a grin. You got 5 seconds to run. You all finish playing in the water, take a seat in the shade of the rides, enjoying the cool breeze. Can you believe people used to just come here and have fun? Nobody fearing for their lives? Hakuna Matata. A life of no worries. Do you ever think the world will be like that again? Or are we just doomed to keep scraping by forever? Doesn't really matter. I mean, sure, we aren't living in the old world, but we can still do everything that they did. We just, put on our own twist on it. The old world had its own problems anyway. I wonder what other stuff we can recreate. We can make it through the solstice, and I'll fill up with snow, and there'll be plenty to try. Enough snow to build a snowman? All that and more. We could even set up some decorations. Give each other gifts. Make it a holiday. Sounds like a plan. Oh, enough of the serious talk. The day is still young, and I am not missing out on all the games we haven't tried. I think I'd rather go check out the fairy tale garden I saw on the map out front. And I've got to see if I can get that carousel working. If we're splitting up, we should set a meeting point. In front of the haunted house. In a couple hours? Alright then, I'm gonna go climb up the Ferris wheel, get a lay of the land. What about you, Faye? I think I speak for everyone I say we wouldn't mind some company. Explore the park with one or more of your friends to learn more about them. Even your bond, add a point to the colony. So apparently each person adds a point. So she adds food, someone adds fortress, someone adds, the whole 9 yards. You get it. Join Shannon in a small courtyard, overgrown by vines, a stagnant fountain in the center. This place kind of reminds me of Iron Mount, only in worse shape. It definitely seen better days. Still, it's a little magical, isn't it? You and Shannon poke your head through the busted window of a shop, find the counter littered with all kinds of chips, candy bars, and other junk food. There's still food here. The bright pink stuff. Oh, cotton candy. Cotton made to look like candy? Why? No, silly. It's candy that looks like cotton. They make it by melting sugar and whisking air through it to make it light and fluffy. So why is it pink? Because food coloring. Good question. You don't think any of this is still edible, do you? Given the number of preservatives they put in everything, probably. It's been, what, 15 plus years? Okay, so, no, cotton candy is still not edible. The only thing in cotton candy is literally sugar, but I digress. Well, then we can bring some of it back to I.O. after we give it a taste test. Also, have you tasted a Dorito after like a year of expiration? I know I have, and it tastes like garbage. Two of you settle down on the edge of the fountain and tear open the back packages trying the overly sweet and salty foods. Well, this stuff is a little concerning. I mean, it's been here for who knows how many years, and there's no mold or anything. Isn't the food supposed to, deteriorate? Hang on. Are we even sure this is actually food? I read an article from before the outbreak that said that same thing. Apparently preservatives were killing off our natural microbiomes or something. Those were kinds of things people worried about in the old world. Shannon sets a bag of chips to the side as she turns to peer in the murky fountain water, which particularly thrums as small critters dart beneath the surface. At least life isn't so hard for everything. There's a yellow-legged frog, a long-toed salamander, and I think even a couple of diving beetles under the moss. You sure know a lot about animals. Is that why you became a scientist? Except those aren't animals. I didn't really have much of a choice. The woman who rescued me when I was a child, Dr. Hannah Nyegen, was an epidemiologist at the tower's research facility. So you wanted to follow her in her footsteps? That and it helped me feel connected to something, to the people at our station. When I was younger, I started asking questions about where I was from, and eventually took me back to the house where she found me. Right away, we found some old photos, and that's how I figured out that I'm a native from the Washobi tribe. Oh, how did that feel? It was a lot. I don't really remember my birth family, and it suddenly felt like there was this chasm between the person I was and the people I came from. Disconnect from your roots. I can feel it too. There's so much I'll never know about my family, and even the things I do, it's not the same as living. I was lucky. Aside from all the food and tools being gone, the house was mostly intact. I stayed there all day, and just absorbing everything they'd left behind. Was it hard to leave again? I mean, that place used to be your home. A little, but my ancestors really didn't live in one place. They moved from, with the seasons, from the shores of the lake to the mountains to the foothills. So in a way, this whole region is my home. I'm connected to the land and everything in it. Still, I do wish I'd gotten to know my family. The others at the research station always felt more like co-workers than relatives. What happened to your parents? I don't know. When Hannah found me, I was alone in the house, but the only reason I can think of anyone would leave their child behind is... She trails off and you reach to comfort her. They didn't leave a note or anything? No, but when Hannah and I went back to the house, we found this beautiful willow basket sitting on the bureau. It felt so familiar in my hands, I think. I have this feeling that my mother made it. With how great this mentor of yours sounds, I'm kind of surprised that you didn't end up an epidemiologist. Trust me, there were already plenty of disease specialists at our facility, and everyone dabbled in it. We had to. But I had to point to one thing that made me fall in love with biology. It was probably the parking lot out back. That is not what I expected you to say. In the summer, the place was totally overgrown. I'd sit out there for hours looking at the different plants and watching wildlife that made it their home. With the long grass swaying above my head and the animals just going about their business like I was a part of it all, it felt like I was a family again. It sounds so magical. No wonder you're so into nature. How can you not be? Biology's so hopeful. That's why I love it. If nature's shown me one thing, it's that life finds a way, even in the strangest of places. That is inspiring. I mean, I feel so much of the time the world seems like it's full of death, like you're just barely surviving. It's easy to forget there are plants and animals and people out there living. It's a cycle. There has to be death in order for there to be life, and vice versa. From here, it seems like the plants don't mind the zombies apocalypse one bit. They're thriving. And if the little critters in this fountain are any proof, we animals aren't so easy to get rid of either. Shannon turns back to the fountain, stares into the water for a few moments, a frown coming on her face. You know, for a person like that, you'd figure she would realize they're not animals. You alright? It's nothing, just bad memories. You really haven't been yourself since we went to the warehouse with Mina. You'd think that after being trapped in the research facility for days on end, a cabinet for a few minutes wouldn't be that bad, but I keep having these nightmares. Even just going inside is hard sometimes. Shannon, I know why you did what you did. Mina was in more danger than I was. You needed to help her. I'm still sorry I couldn't do more for you. Well, you're here now. That's something. Shannon, I'm glad we found you. I know that we technically rescued you the first day we met, but I wouldn't be what it is without you. Hell, we wouldn't even have known about the solstice. I'm just glad that I can be of help. I promise, when all this is over, you can have any equipment you want for your lab. Careful there, Faith. We scientists can dream pretty big. You and Shannon finish up the remainder of the open food and tuck the rest away in your packs as the clouds pass overhead. You explore the fairy tale village with Shannon. We should probably get back, meet up with the others. You go on ahead. I just want to sit here for a few more minutes, take it all in. But thanks for coming out here with me. I like the company. Anytime. I wonder what the others are doing. I could go and have a look. Next up, Troy. After a bit of searching, you find Troy exploring a cluster of booths with bright, cheery signs advertising various games. Now this is what I'm talking about. I haven't heard of most of these games. How do you even play them? Don't worry about it. Most of them are rigged against you anyway. Wait, seriously? Let's look at the strength test. Troy picks up an intricately decorated hammer lying beside a thin tower that describes various levels of strength. He gives it a swing, but the weight barely bounces halfway up to tough guy. See, the weight, it's so nearly impossible to hit the bell at the top. Or maybe you're just weak, tough guy. Ouch, Faith. Ouch. Why don't we see how well you do? He tosses you the hammer, and you heft it back behind your shoulders. You get ready to swing. Here we go! You bring the hammer down with all your might, but the weight just goes a little past where Troy got it to. A bodybuilder. What'd I tell you? Totally rigged. Well, I still did a bit better than you. Bet you won't do half as well at the rest of these games. Though not sure there's much of a point in playing them, given they're designed to lose. I can't wait to win you a weird stuffed animal. Aren't you just the perfect date? I can't stand the thought of you going home empty-handed because you can't win one of those games. You know, Faith, there's nothing stopping us from just taking the stuffed animals we want. Yes, but that's not the fun in it. Where's the fun in it? You and Troy step up to the booth with a shooting range game, using miniature rifles to shoot out puffs of air. 30 seconds later, you and Troy have knocked down all the bottles. How did anyone ever find this remotely challenging? I could do this in my sleep. Yeah, I'm starting to think people back then just sucked at everything, or they didn't have the basic training. One of the two. I bet the kids back home would still enjoy it though, and they seem easy to recreate. We'll have to up the challenge a bit for the adults. Maybe you can have to be drunk to play. You continue around the square, stopping in front of a ring toss game, a few prizes still hanging above. You know, it's incredible how much you've learned about the old world, especially given how much Blacksock tried to hide. I'll admit, it's kind of an obsession. I feel like if we hadn't grown up together, I'd be totally in the dark. I mean, you get it, though. Our parents weren't around to tell us what the world used to be like. You at least had Patricia, but I had to figure it out on my own. I'm sure someone would have been willing to tell you what it was like. I didn't want them to. Reading about it, watching movies, and covering artifacts, it was way more fantastic, like a fairy tale. It was just my way to escape. Tell me your favorite old world thing. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hard to beat movies. They're fun, there are hundreds of them out there, but if I had to just pick one thing, that'd be skateboards. And I have no idea what those are. A picture like a long, flat board, now bolt some wheels on the bottom, and stand on thing and it flies down a hill. I just love that life. It was so safe. People invented new ways to put themselves in danger. It does sound pretty idyllic. Troy grins at you and then suddenly clears his throat. A smug glint returns to his eyes as he picks up a ring and tosses it, easily hooking the topmost peg. It was either that or some more scandalous magazines from the back of the day. Hot naked bodies, as far as the eye can see. Some of those articles were very informative. You give his shoulder a rough shove. You have a knack for ruining nice moments, you know that? I do my best. You know, you always manage to make me laugh. Flattery will get you everywhere, Faith. I mean it. Whenever I had a rough day at training or got scolded by Patricia, you were around to cheer me up. It almost made up for all the times you got me in trouble. That's what best friends are for. As Troy leans casually against the booth, your thoughts are suddenly drawn back to the night you ran from the tower when Troy showed up on the stoop of Eli's cabin. I still can't believe you were going to ditch the tower that night without telling me about it. Would you have missed me, Faith? Troy, I'm serious. Were you really just gonna run away on your own? Not that it matters now, but I was planning to contact you once I got somewhere safe. Through all the tower security without Blackstock or any of the guards finding out that coming to kill you? I ran a black market behind their backs for years. I'd have managed somehow. You could have always at least left in a note. Oh, come on. You wouldn't have seen it if I did. You ran away, too. You didn't know that. I just figured if I was important to you, you'd have, tried. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't want to drag you into the problems. If Blackstock knew we were connected, he might have gone after you. I was trying to protect you, not that it made a difference. I guess it all worked out anyway. Looks like we're stuck with each other. He chuckles and gives you a playful wink. Thank goodness. Can't imagine how dull I.O. would be without me. Troy, why don't we try another game? Alright, but when I win, you have to call me Troy, the greatest to ever live. You mean when I win, you have to call me Faith, the almighty to I.O. Almighty, huh? You sure you're not compensating for something? So you're so going down. You and Troy try out every game the amusement park has to offer, none of them proving much of a challenge. We should probably head back before everyone thinks we got eaten or murdered or something like that. Though now that I think about it, that would be a pretty good prank. You're on your own for that one. I don't want to be the reason Angel burns his entire place to the ground. You're no fun. And next up, at the carousel, you find Angel sitting cross-legged in front of the maintenance panel, sporadically tossing chunks of metal over her shoulder. Whoa! You narrowly dodge a chunk of frayed wire attached to a hefty circuit board. She glances at you over her shoulder, surprised. Whoopsie. You could have made a noise, I wasn't expecting to be pelted with spare parts. How else am I going to get this thing up and running? Gotta clean out the junk first. But we might be able to salvage some of it to make some defensive weaponry or whatever. Never know what could come in handy. I'm sure Dirk will be thrilled to hear it. Since you're here, be a doll and help me out. She bats her eyelashes playfully. She gestures to a flashlight on the ground behind you. You stoop to retrieve it, crouching at her side, shining a light into this inscrutable tangle of wires. Oh, freaking mess. But give me a minute, and I'll make those babies dance again. By those babies, do you mean the carousel animals, duh? Your gaze wanders towards the dilapidated ride, dirt and dust caked over the fiberglass animals. Hey, I was wondering, wordlessly, she knocks her elbow so that the flashlight points where she needs it to. Mind the light. I was wondering how you can make sense of all that. I mean, like you said, it's a mess. How do you even know how to make this stuff work? Haven't you heard I'm a genius? Ha! You roll your eyes at her. I had a lot of time to hone my craft back at the mall. If something broke, it wasn't like I could just get a new one. I had to fix it myself. You took the apocalypse and turned it into a learning experience, which every day should be a learning experience for everybody, but it's called surviving, Faith. Hand me that Allen wrench, will you? You pass it to her, and she gets to work unscrewing one of the back panels. Her gaze is fixed on the work ahead, but she looks thoughtful. Before joining up with you, I spent a lot of time alone. I never really had anyone to talk to, except... She goes quiet, her expression clouded. You grimace. I'm sorry, Angel. I know your parents were really important to you. Yeah, they were. But it wasn't a total loss. You managed to put someone important in their place. She jabs your arm gently with the butt of a screwdriver. Are you saying I'm a really important person? Who else, dummy? You and the rest of the ragtag little gang are good people. People worth doing something nice for. You're one of those people too, Angel. I know. That's why I've been fighting so hard, but people aren't made to just fight all the time. We're supposed to laugh and dance and make happy memories. Must sound completely dumb to you. I think you've got a point. We focus so much on fighting, making weapons, bulking up our defenses, it's easy to forget that that's not all we needed to survive. Right. Like, what's the point of making it if you're just gonna be miserable forever? We all need a way to forget our troubles, even if it's just for a little while. Angel pops off the control panel in the back, flips a couple of switches, nothing happens. Are you sure this thing's gonna run? Do we even have the energy to power it? Please, this place is chock full of solar panels. We should have enough to kickstart one measly little ride. Don't worry, I'll keep the sound off. Don't want a bunch of Z-bags to ruin our fun. She fiddles with a couple of knobs, solders a loose wire into place. And with a creak and a whir of machinery, the carousel stutters to life. Ooh, what'd I tell you? I'm never doubting you again. With a cheerful whoop, Angel leaps onto the slowly moving platform and straddles a tiger, kicking her feet in the stirrups. Don't just stand there, pick a steed, any steed. I'm gonna pick the dragon. You hop onto the platform after Angel and swing a leg over your chosen mount. The dragon is a little wobbly underneath you, but fortunately, its horns provide a good hold. A solid pick, whimsical, majestic, powerful, like someone else I know. You think I'm whimsical? I was talking about me. Ha! You both laugh playfully as the carousel rolls forward, but after a moment, your echoing voices fade, leaving you in silence. Oh, I think I figured out why those things are supposed to have music. We'll just have to make our own. Ooh, I'll start. Oh, carousel, oh, carousel. Isn't that Christmas music? Shut up, the mall stereo had a very limited playlist. How wobbly are your horses? You spin us round in whirls and rounds and whirls. Stay on too long, you'll probably hurl. You and Angel burst out laughing, clutching tight to your poles to keep yourself steady. And sooner than expected, the ride shudders and stops. Looks like that's all the fun for now. You hop down, stumbling a little as you find your footing on the solid ground. Angel follows, but her foot catches on a piece of broken fiberglass, and she falls forward. Oh! Without hesitating, you open your arms to catch her. She crashes into you, the two of you topple to the ground. She laughs breathlessly as she sprawls on top of you. Sorry, got a little dizzy. I can see that. Her soft hair tickles the side of your face, and her dark eyes sparkle invitingly. Seeing her so close, almost like you've seen her for the first time. Why is it they're doing this with her versus, like, the others? Interesting. Do you mind if I kiss you? I mind if you don't. You brush her hair off her forehead, tucking it behind her ear. She grins down at you. Her gaze lingers on... Your gaze lingers on her lips for a half second before you lift her face to kiss you. She responds immediately and enthusiastically, her lips soft and warm against yours, and when you break apart, she chases after you. I thought you said the fun was over. She frames your face with her forearms, and you wrap your arms around her waist, holding her close as your mouths meet again. I guess I had a few more tricks up my sleeve. Your lips part, and her tongue finds yours, the two of you sharing deep, languid kisses for a long moment. She nips playfully at your lower lip, eyes twinkling, and you feel her mouth twist mischievously, and you aren't the only one. Oof. Before you know it, she's rolled over, so she's laid out beneath you. She grins triumphantly at you as she loops her arms around your neck and peppers your face with tiny kisses. You're ridiculous. And you love it. She traces the edge of your jaw with one finger, her expression open and affectionate as she gives your lips a final peck. She sighs as you lay down beside her, tucking her hand underneath your chin while you stroke her hair. I think we should, get back in a minute or 5. Huh. And next up, Eli. You catch up with Eli at the skeletal remains of the Ferris wheel. He nods in your direction as he pulls himself up onto the rusted frame, bouncing lightly to test its strength. It's sturdy. Should be, able to climb to the top. Because battling the undead is so dull these days, we need something new to satisfy our death wishes. Oof. Don't tell me you're afraid. His tone is as cool as ever, but you don't miss the quick flash of a challenge in his eyes. You join him on the frame of the Ferris wheel, hoisting yourself up to his level. Never race you to the top? That's not what I... Before he can protest further, you race up the beams of the Ferris wheel. Glancing over your shoulder, you see Eli reluctantly falling below. A thrill of adrenaline spikes through you as you near the top of the wheel, but suddenly... Watch that loose beam! You tighten your hold, hugging tight to the side of the empty car as you look wildly around for the beam. Where? I don't see it. You hear the clang of boots against the metal and turn to see Eli darting past you. It's called a trick. His lips twitch as he surges ahead and pulls himself onto the topmost bar. I win. Yeah, you cheated, though. You cheated, though. You should have specified the rules. Breathless from the climb, the two of you ease into the empty cab at the top of the Ferris wheel. So, what's my prize? Bragging rights? I don't have much else to offer. You've got more to offer than you think. He watches for your moment, then clears his throat pointedly and pats the bow he brought with him, pulling it off his back. But your aim could still use some work. That's why you brought me up here? Here I thought we were letting loose for once. I told you I was coming up here to scout. Well, that's what you told everyone else. I figured we were coming up here to have a little fun. Fun isn't my primary concern. Oh, really? That didn't seem to be the case when Troy made you, your very own roller coaster. You've got me there. Eli passes you his bow, and you knock an arrow. What's today's lesson, Chief? Eli covers your hands with his, adjusting your grip and position on the bow. Your shots, you've shot long distance before, but never from an angle like this. Up high, you're working against a lot of factors. Yeah, wind, gravity, distance, you know, like wind resistance. Among other things. Focus on your grip. Your bow should be pressed into the palm of your hand, but no tighter than that. You follow his advice, and nod. Eli pulls back to scan the ground below. See that sign down there? Try to hit it. Remember to hold your aim until the arrow hits. With a deep breath, you aim for the sign, let your arrow fly. It clatters against the corner with a distant clink, but doesn't land true. Damn. Not bad. Try again. You practice shooting a few more minutes, loose arrows, until you manage to land 3 shots on the sign. That'd be a great drill for some of the fighters back home. They could practice shooting from the upper floor of the lodge. Well, we just put in a watchtower, so not a bad idea. If they're half as good as you, it shouldn't take them long to get the hang of it. No thanks, Eli. You're a great teacher. Hardly. You've just got a natural talent. I was practicing in the Scouts for years, and I never learned half the stuff, you know. Pretty sure I.O. would have already fallen if it weren't for all the training you've gave everyone. You trying to butter me up for something? Nope, just want you to remember who your favorite student is. He laughs, his face breaking into a full-bodied and genuine smile. I'll keep that in mind. You and Eli smile at each other for a long moment until he comes back to himself and looks away. You gaze out across the fairgrounds, admiring the encampment below. You really can see everything up here. That's why I wanted to scoop it. Make sure we weren't being surrounded. And here I was thinking you were feeling nostalgic for your childhood. A shadow passes over his face, and he sighs as he turns away to stare out into the distance. You aren't far off the mark. I remember when this place was still running. You didn't say you'd been here before the outbreak. It wasn't much, honestly. Just a run-of-the-mill fairground. But to me and my brother, it might as well have been Disneyland. We had this tradition every time we'd visit. We'd finish the night by riding the Ferris wheel together. We used to pray it'd get stuck so we could stay up here for hours, just watching on the lights and people down below. That sounds so peaceful. His expression darkens again, and he goes quiet, and you reach out to touch his shoulder. Yeah, I haven't been to a fairground in decades. You don't have to tell me if you don't really want to, but what happened to your family? You never talk about them. Same thing that always happens. I couldn't do a damn thing to protect them. Eli, you did everything you could. You don't know that. I know you. I know you'd do anything to protect what matters to you. It should have been me that day. But it wasn't, and Eli, I'm so glad you're still here. Faith. You move closer to him, facing him head on with a determined gaze. I know how much it hurts to lose people you love, but focusing on that pain, shutting everyone out, it won't help. There are still things in life worth fighting for. I don't ever want you to forget that. He looks pained. He shifts closer and reaches for your hand, his fingertips coasting over your knuckles. I won't. I just don't want to experience that pain again. I know, but you've got us now. You've got me. You turn your wrist and take his hand, gently giving it a comforting squeeze. That's the problem, Faith. If we get close, if I lose you too, I don't think I'd survive. His voice is desperate and rough around the edges, and you're struck by his closeness, his warmth, and the gravity of his words. Without thinking, you lean forward and kiss him, his lips rough but warm as they press against yours. He pulls back startled, and you clutch his hand like you're afraid he might vanish on the spot. Faith. I'm sorry. He takes you in his strong arms, draws you close, his chest pressed against his. He kisses you back. It's like kissing a volcano on the verge of eruption. His movements are measured, his breathing harsh, and when he pulls back, he gazes at your face with darkened eyes. Damn it. His lips find yours again, and he kisses you passionately, holding you to him like you're his only lifeline, and you clutch him back just as fiercely. You dig your fingers into the taut muscles on his shoulders as he licks over your lips, making you gasp. Eli. You lips part, you gasp when his tongue finds yours, overwhelmed by the ferocity of his kiss. You're drunk on the sensation of him, of the feeling of his body against yours, on the woodsy smell of him filling your senses. He cuts you off, mouth crashing against yours once again to meet you in a kiss that is all heat and desire. And then, just when you think he's finally softening under your touch, we should go back. He pulls away, his expression guarded, his shoulders squared. Yeah, I guess we should. Eli starts to exit the cab, but pauses before he can gain footing on the beam below. I'm glad I met you, Faith. I just thought I should tell you that at least once. With that, he disappears. After a long moment, you follow. After meeting back up, you all walk through the gate of the haunted house, stepping into a dusty old cemetery. I don't don't see what's so scary about any of this. People in the old world used to be afraid that dead people would come back as spirits to haunt them. That actually sounds kind of nice, getting to talk to people you've lost. Or maybe it was the dead would rise out of the graves and come to kill them. I can't remember. It was both. I don't know. I think I'd feel a little better if the undead were trapped underground. Until one of their arms bursts out to grab you and pull you under so it can eat you alive. Angel suddenly grabs both your shoulders and shakes you around while clacking her teeth together. You shove her away with a roll of your eyes. Oh, very funny. As the others examine the headstones, you push ahead to a small building, a plastic skeleton covered in fake cobwebs just inside the door. If this haunted house isn't going to give us any scares, maybe I can. You tuck yourself into the darkness alongside the skeleton, waiting for your friends to come along. I'll jump out at Angel. As Angel gets close, you leap out of the mausoleum with an angry snarl, the skeleton held out in front of you. Oh! She jumps back, wildly swinging her wrench out in front of her, clobbering the head of the skeleton clean off. What did that poor skeleton do to you? Faith, you... Oh, this means war. Her eyes practically light up with excitement. She turns and rushes in. What have I started? Nothing good. As you approach a small dark structure at the back of the graveyard, you notice Shannon clenching and unclenching her fist, staring anxiously at the door. Hey, you gonna be okay in there? We can do something else. No, it doesn't seem so bad. I want to. Okay, but if it gets to be too much, I'll let you know. Promise. Face your fear with your friends. We're all here for you. Heading deeper in the haunted house, you enter a long corridor full of props, including a baby doll, a coffin, a ghostly figure hanging at the end. Okay, I can kind of see what's so scary about the spirits now. That doll is way creepier, like it's starting to stare at me, or through me. I don't know, feels like there's a bit too much going on. I mean, a skull, a gravestone, talk about overkill. Is this thing over there supposed to be a zombie? It looks so dumb. You all follow Angel's gaze to a 6-foot-tall figure, its plastic flesh wrinkled and pieces of bright pink brain exposed. Why is it green? Clearly they didn't know what real rotting flesh looked like. Its teeth aren't even sharp. How's it supposed to spread the parasite? Have you ever been bit by a normal person? Yeah, no, seriously, it can still bite through flesh. The metal implants are a fun touch, though. They had no idea what was coming. How many people who came through this place before the outbreak are dead now? At least 70% of them, and that's being optimistic. Okay, listen, I wasn't asking for literal numbers. Not everyone was so naive. We've seen enough survivors to prove that. I wonder if this place was a meat locker. I saw one of those in a movie, and let me tell you, that was scary. The sudden clattering down the hall, you turn in time to see a drone rushing around the corner, teeth bared. Crap, its head explodes into 1,000 chunks as a gun goes off, the sound echoing down the hall. What the... A woman steps through the gun smoke, flanked by 3 others dressed in dark leathers. Oh, for the love of God. Yeah, that's them. Woman's face remains blank. You practically feel the menace radiating from her as she toys with the handle of a well-worn sledgehammer. You, Faith, then? Yeah? So you're the leader of the upstart colony that's been stealing my gas and making trouble for my raiders. The rest of you can leave unless you want to die with her. You must be Sledgehammer. And see, we took the gas. You shared a few kisses. Climbing top, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. You're doing good. I mean, morale needs to raise a little. Now it's the lowest, but I had gotten some of that with doing this, but I digress. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And down screen from below, links to social media, Discord, if you like to support me and my content. And without further ado, thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciated. So it looks like Chapter 11 will be next up for this one. And then also, we got, or Crimes of Passion, Chapter 4. I'm dealing with, and then also Mismatch, Chapter 4 as well. And a couple other chapters and books coming down the well, as well as plenty of content over on our Twitch channel. Make sure to check that out as well. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. Catch you all later. Peace out.